Shalom, friends, and welcome to Walking the Ancient Path, where we journey back into the language, landscape, and life rhythms of the Scriptures in a lighter, more accessible way, exploring the world of the Bible as its original listeners would have experienced it. Today, we'll pick up our in-depth exploration of the entire book of Galatians, verse by verse, and unpack each passage within the context of organic ancient Hebrew thought in chapter 1. Verse 8. But though we, or an angel from heaven, preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
But even if we ourselves, or even a messenger descending from the heights of the Shamayim, should announce to you a besorah different from the one we already proclaimed, let him be under the curse, cut off from the covenant blessing.
We, or an angel from heaven, Paul emphasizes the warning to its highest point. Not even the apostles themselves, nor a radiant Malach messenger from Yahweh's throne has the right to change the message already given. In Hebrew imagery, this makes the besorah like a carved stone at the gate. It cannot be reshaped even by the most dazzling figure. Preach any other gospel. In Paul's Greek, it meant to bring the besorah, to declare Yahweh's deliverance through Yeshua. A herald who rushes into camp with a false message is a betrayer, not a servant. Then that which we have preached unto you, Paul reminds them that the original word is the true word, the living seed already planted. To alter it is to sow tares among the wheat. Tares refer to weeds, specifically a type called darnel, which grow among wheat and are often indistinguishable from it until they mature. Let him be accursed. The Greek word anathema echoes the Hebrew cherem, a thing devoted to destruction. In Hebrew imagery, it means set apart from blessing, placed outside the circle of the tent, cut off from the clan's covenant protection. Paul's language here is not casual. It is the strongest possible rejection.
Verse 9. As we said before, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed.
As I have declared before, I say it once more. If anyone announces to you a besorah different from the one you already received into your hands, let him stand outside the covenant blessing, under the curse.
As we said before, I say again, in Hebrew style, repetition isn't redundant. It's a form of emphasis, like hammering a peg twice to ensure the tent is secure. Paul wants no wiggle room. This warning must remain firm. If any man, no exceptions, whether he's a stranger, a teacher, or a familiar face from the clan, the standard stays the same. Authority or reputation doesn't protect anyone from this test. Preach any other gospel. Again, this references the imagery of the herald. If the runner delivers a report that doesn't align with the true victory already declared, he is not a servant of the king, but a deceiver. Then that ye have received, to receive in Hebrew thought is not just to hear, but to take into one's hands, to hold and guard. The Galatians had embraced the true word already. To exchange it is to abandon a precious inheritance. Let him be accursed, repeated for emphasis. The clan cannot allow false fire to burn in the camp. It must be extinguished before it spreads.
Verse 10. For do I now persuade men, or God, or do I seek to please men? For if I yet pleased men, I should not be the servant of Christ.
Am I now trying to win the approval of men, or of Yahweh? Am I chasing to please the faces of men? If I were still bending myself to human favor, I would no longer stand as a servant under the yoke of the Anointed King.
Do I now persuade men, or God? The word persuade here means to seek favor or approval. In Hebrew imagery, it is like bowing low to win a chieftain's smile. Paul asks, whose face am I turning toward, the faces of men or the face of Yahweh? Do I seek to please men? To please men is to seek their nods, their applause. In Hebrew thought, this is superficial, like chasing the shifting wind. If I yet pleased men, Paul admits that once before the anointed seized him, he sought human approval, rising in the ranks of Pharisaic authority. But that path ended when he encountered Yeshua. I should not be the servant of Christ, the servant of the Anointed King. A servant, Eved, is a bondman, bound to his master's household. To serve Yeshua is to shoulder his yoke, walk his trail, and carry his burden. One cannot serve both the fleeting favor of men and the eternal authority of the Anointed.
Verse 11. But I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man.
Brothers of the clan, I make this known with firmness. The besorah I announced among you does not trace its path back to man.
I certify you. In Hebrew imagery I make known with firmness is the language of oath-like declaration, like lifting one's hand and saying, "This word is certain." Brethren, again using clan language. Paul is not speaking to strangers but to covenant kin, those united with him in the same household of Yahweh. The gospel which was preached of me, the besorah Paul carried, is not something he made up or changed. He was just the messenger, the herald. The message itself belongs to the king. Is not after man? This means it is not shaped by human teaching, not built from human tradition, and not created in the halls of philosophy or councils of elders. In Hebrew thought, it is like saying, "This seed did not sprout from human soil, it came down from heaven's rain."
Verse 12. For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Jesus Christ.
For I did not receive this from the hands of men, nor was it passed to me by human teaching, but it came through unveiling, through the revealing of Yeshua, the Anointed King himself.
I did not receive it of man. In Hebrew imagery, to receive means to take something into one's hands. Paul is saying no human hand placed this word in his palm, nor was I taught it. He did not sit at the feet of rabbis or human instructors to learn this message. Unlike Torah study passed from master to disciple, this knowledge came in a different way. But by the revelation, the word means unveiling, galah in Hebrew imagery. To uncover, to pull back the tent flap so what is hidden becomes seen. This is the moment the veil is pulled away and the reality of Yeshua is exposed to the heart. Of Yeshua the Anointed King. The source is personal, not abstract. Yeshua himself was revealed to Paul on the Damascus road, with light brighter than the noonday sun. This besorah is not second-hand rumor. It is a first-hand encounter.
Verse 13. For ye have heard of my conversation in time past in the Jews' religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of God, and wasted it.
For you have already heard of my former walk, when I trod the path of the Yehudi tradition, how with excess I hunted and crushed the gatherings of Yahweh's Kahal, seeking to tear it down to ruin.
Conversation in time past. Paul is referring to his old walk, deeply rooted in Pharisaic zeal. In Hebrew imagery, a person's walk signifies their way of life, with their footsteps illustrating the path they follow. In the Jews' religion, Yehudi tradition, the phrase does not refer to the covenant given at Sinai itself, but to the inherited system of Pharisaic interpretation and custom. In Hebrew thought, this is the fence of human rulings built around the Torah. Beyond measure I persecuted. Paul describes his violence as overflowing, surpassing limits. The image depicts pressing grapes until they burst, crushing them without restraint. The Church of God, Kahal of Yahweh. Gahal means the gathering of Yahweh's people, assembled like tents around a campfire. Paul once viewed them not as brothers, but as enemies to be eliminated, and wasted it, sought to ruin it. The word paints a picture of devastation, like a marauder trampling a vineyard, stripping branches bare. Paul confesses his past not lightly, but with raw honesty. He once tried to uproot the very gatherings he now serves.
We'll pause here and continue in our next chat.
If you listeners have areas of interest you'd like to explore further, questions, or comments, please don't hesitate to let us know.